I see stuff all the time on Facebook, and I've posted stuff and everything else, and that, a picture of a big line of motorcycles, and then there's like, if you see this, keep in mind, these bikers are out spending their own money, raising money for a cause or for an individual, so be patient and everything else. And I've shared those on the Steel Horse page and everything else, and I think it's important for people to understand, why are you why are you stopping traffic?
Right.
Why am I sitting here now for 20 extra minutes waiting on you guys to go by?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
and so I do like those comments where it's like, this is why we're doing this.
Yeah.
To explain why we're doing it. Now, just because I've explained it doesn't mean it's going to change somebody else's opinion on it.
Right.
But at least they understand why we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how many times you've been driving down in the car or driving your truck and somebody's pissed at you for doing something and you're like, I haven't done anything wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Why are you mad at me?
Yeah.
I had a person that did an illegal U-turn as I'm crossing over a 4-lane divided highway where speed limit is a very generous 60 miles an hour.
Right.
And this person that was coming out the side street decided they didn't want to go anymore, and they turned around, making a U-turn as I'm coming across. Now I'm stuck in oncoming traffic lane because this guy decided to do it, and I'm like, I hit the horn like, dude, you got to go.
Right.
They started to make the U-turn, and their front wheel was going to go off the road just a little bit, so they stopped. They backed up some more and everything else. And I hit the horn like, dude, you can't. You got me out here. I'm getting ready to be T-boned.
Yeah.
And they flipped me off. Those are the things I want to catch the person and say, I just want to know why.
Right.
Listen, I know you're an idiot and you're an a-hole. You've already proven that. Now, tell me why. Give me one reason why. And not why you did what you did, but why were you mad at me?
Right.
You're the one in the wrong. Why are you flipping me off? What did I do? You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I think it's important to find out why. And let it go. So these people that get upset with motorcyclists, and I've watched the motorcyclists get pissed off, and they're flipping people off, and they're pointing their finger at them, telling them, you got to wait there, you got to wait there. Sometimes we have to look at it from their point of view.
Right.
I get it. We're raising money for little Timmy, who was born with a birth defect or whatever, and they need extra money, and we're raising money, and we're going to get Timmy the help that he needs so he can live a healthy life and everything else. I get it. I understand that completely. But sometimes we make our cause more important than everybody else's.
Right.
And the fact is, it's not more important.
Right. It's important, but everybody has something important going on.
I look at it like, sometimes I want to get a picture of a soccer mom in their minivan with their kids in the back and all the gear and all that stuff, and take a picture of that and put that up there.
Right.
If you're upset about me with all these kids in my van, keep in mind, we don't have money to send our children to college, but little Lucy is really good at soccer, and the only way she's going to get to go to college is if she can get a scholarship. Therefore, me sitting here for an extra 30 minutes while you're doing your ride is keeping me from getting her to the soccer game that she's supposed to be at. And if she can't play, she's not going to be able to get better, and she's not going to be able to get her scholarship. She may be a senior in high school, you know what I mean?
Right.
This is important, and now mom's stuck behind, 200 motorcycles that are making her wait, and we're just, you got to sit there and wait. And she's like, hey, I got to be somewhere too. You know what I mean? I think sometimes we forget.
Yeah, because it's not like, if the city's got a parade going or something like that, well in advance what roads are closed. Right. So to make a change to, where you need to go. Any weekend, if there's a big ride, and, whether you ask the police to get involved or the police just see how big it is so they get involved to make sure things are done safely, or you have people that are blocking the road, like, you didn't know that was going to be going on. most people aren't hanging around all the same Facebook pages as motorcyclists. So, yeah, you got to look at it both ways.
Yeah, the same way we have no idea what this girl's schedule is for her soccer game. They don't know what our schedule is for the motorcyclists. And so for me, I do get irritated sometimes when I watch some of the bikers get violently mad at somebody because they're trying to and all they're doing is I gotta go. Why do I have to abide by the rules and you don't? Why do you get to do whatever you want? And so I see both sides of it, and I think that's what's important. And I wish more people could do that this day and age, is understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Again, it may not change my viewpoint, but if we can understand why somebody else, all right, well, I got upset. Do you remember we did the trip out to Washington, D.C.?
I was getting ready to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it they always told us about that? About riding in it? Because we had, going out there, I think there was 67 motorcycles.
Yeah, 67 and a minivan. Yeah, you get on the highway, and generally, the way they had it, you had captains for, each segment or whatever. That way, if you got on the highway, things could split up to give cars space, because a car's going to get on the highway at some point.
They have to come over.
They're going to have to come over, and instead of getting mad at them for coming over, just give them space. They don't want to be there as much as you don't want them to be there.
That's the phrase right there.
Yes.
That's the phrase that has stuck with me ever since we did that ride.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. They don't want to be there, so just let them come in, figure out what they need to do, and they'll get out of the way with no problem.
Give them some space. And that's because even with us, they would separate us I think 8 to 10 bikes, and then there we have a gap.
Yeah.
And you have the next 10 bikes, and there's a gap for that very reason, so people can get on the highway. Because let's face it, when we're all going out there, there was times, most of the time we stayed on U.S. highways.
Yeah.
But there was a time there we had to get on the interstate, and that's what they were saying. We're going to be separated by 10, 8 or 10 bikes, whatever it was. Yeah. And each little group, they had a captain up front. They had a trailer in the back. And so you always had people that were part of the putting the ride on, taking care of each group.
Yeah.
And so we could separate and allow vehicles to come on and out. But the comment he always made, those people don't want to be in the middle of you guys as much as you don't want them to be there. That's the last thing they want. And I think sometimes we have to remember that.
Yeah.
People don't want to. Listen, have I encountered a-holes that just don't give a crap about you on a motorcycle and just run you off the road? Yes, I have encountered that multiple times. But I know most of the time, people just don't realize.
Right.
Sometimes they don't even realize, oh, this is a big group. Because what else happens when you have a long line of motorcycles? And it doesn't have to be 200 bikes. You could have a line of 50. A line of 30 bikes. 30 bikes takes up a lot of space. And what happens? You have that one person that will not stay. You can preach it until you're blue in the face. You stay tight, tight formation. You keep 2 seconds between you and the motorcycle in front of you, which means when you're riding staggered, that guy that's over onto your right or over to your left is going to be 1 second.
Right.
And you stay 2 seconds behind the person directly in front of you, 1 second behind the person that's staggered on in front of you. But you'll get those people that just aren't comfortable doing that.
Right.
And therefore, they lay way back.
Yeah.
And now you have this big ass gap in the middle of your ride. Well, somebody pulls up to a stop sign. There's this big gap. They're going to pull out and go. A lot of times it's our fault, the motorcyclist's fault, for doing what they're doing. And again, it's not even a matter of, oh, those crotch rockets, I hate them because they're always going 90 miles an hour and they're always doing wheelies in the middle of the road, la 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 la. I get it. That's craziness, and it's as crazy as people pulling out in front of Harley riders. They're like, no, these guys are going to go 20 miles an hour under the speed limit. I don't have enough time to sit behind. And I'm guilty of that myself,
Yeah.
going, oh shit, here comes a bunch of Harleys. These guys are going to be going so freaking slow. But sometimes we just have to stop and put ourselves in the other people's
Right.
shoes and say, okay, maybe they had a good reason why they were irritated about us.
Yeah.
And again, what does give us the right to just take over a
Right.
roadway? It's different when you have the police escorting you and all that.
Yeah.
But when you're just doing it on your own, like, yeah, what the hell? Let's just stop in traffic,
Right.
and I don't want to stop for stop signs. I don't want to have to wait for a red light. Yeah, just block the intersection. Let's
Right.
go. You got to have permission to do that kind
Yes.
of stuff.
That is technically against the law.
It is.
I know a lot of rides do it, and generally the police are pretty lenient about it, but it is technically against the law. And if somebody gets mad because of it, they do technically have the right to go around you.